All right, guys. Hey, good morning. Thanks for joining me. Um, we had some storms come through last night, and I, it was a downburst wind. In the blink of an eye, there was a pine tree right on the other side of his garage on that street, and there's another tree right by the red car. The root ball is just kind of standing up, and then that tree right here got broke off and knocked down, and across the street from our house, a couple houses down, several trees. In for like a half a second, it was just this downburst of wind, and these power lines were just spinning like a couple young schoolgirls with a jump rope, and all at once, tree down, tree down, tree down, and at the other side, all the trees went down at the exact same time, and it was just crazy. I'm looking out the back like, Karen, you gotta see these trees. They're just being pushed down, and she's out the front like, you gotta see the trees over here. They're going down. And holy Hannah, we got these big oaks, and Scott's big oaks there. Luckily, their umbrella is a little thin yet. Because we've been so saturated with that wind. I thought that's when a big oak will come out of the ground, is when you're this saturated, the wind catches that umbrella and just whoop, uproots them, and there goes our little house. But yeah, I made a throne. The wife wanted me to unload block from the pickup, so I unloaded it. How's that look? Oh yeah, that looks pretty good. I got my pop there. Oh boy, that looks pretty good. All right, let's get to work. River is just starting to get back to normal height. Man, that puppy was high. Holy cow, that sucker was high. Oh boy, look at the barley in the pasture. Barley pasture mix, boy, that's nice and green, starting to come along. Look at the pasture itself. Oh, baby, a lot of good grazing there. To be honest with you, I thought there would be way more tree damage than what there is. They're just a couple random trees. Well, plan B is I went and got them sprayer parts and got them plugged in or clamped on, and there was more stuff broke. I've never had a problem with winterizing the sprayer, but somehow I missed that spot last fall. It's a pretty easy sprayer to winterize. There's just 10 caps that I pull off, and I forgot one of them. Nobody got hurt. That's the important thing. I'm tired. So we'll grab I came over here to grab the air cart from behind the strip till. We'll get that home and get him empty and my wagon empty of fertilizer. And then the previous owner told me, when you're done for the season with this air cart, I'm not done for the season yet, but he says when you're done with the cart for the season, to put floor dry through it. Get 100 pounds of floor dry, or 50 pounds in each compartment, and that floor dry will absorb moisture, and then you run it through the system, and it kind of cleans the system out so no fertilizer is sitting there. And then take a Hudson sprayer full of hydraulic oil and give the outside of the machine an oil bath. And so that's what we'll do. But I want to use it, since it's got some precision application to it, I want to see if I can't use it to spread the cover crops. Just unfold the strip till bar and then just carry the strip till bar and blow the covers on
They might be kind of streaky, but it's cover crops, not a cash crop, and they'll serve their purpose. They'll scatter around a little bit, I think, if you're driving. And there is a diffuser back there that where the air goes down behind the shank. If that plugs, there's kind of a diffuser or a blow-off spot. So I thought, boy, a guy could almost plug the shank deliberately, and so then it would be blowing out the back and kind of spreading a little bigger pattern. But I'm not terribly worried about it. I'm going to give it a try and see if it can't work as a precision cover cropper. All right, plan C. We still have no electricity, so I can't get the 4020 out of the shop with the fertilizer wagon. And I thought, well, geez, if I can't get that fertilizer out of the shop, I'll hook up to the hay mower and start changing blades on the hay mower and knock a little bit of hay down. And but the 4020 is still stuck in the shop, and you're like, oh darn it, I can't do anything. And so I'm running to the hardware store to see if I can't get a couple rolls of duct tape and wire nuts, and we're going to throw some wires over the power wires and connect them to the generator and see if we can't backfeed the system. No, we got to disconnect. When we had the dairy farm, they had a thing at the bottom of the pole that you just lifted that switch and it disconnected the transformer or whatever from the rest of the power lines. And so then we can hook up the generator to the bottom. And so we're going to try my 10,000 watt generator and see if we can't run one freezer at a time to keep all of the food good for mom and dad, and then run the well so we can refill the stock tank for the steers. The cows have a little bit of a pond out there to drink. But yeah, so that's plan C. Well, I think it was productive. I was able to find a plug-in that I think we can get to work. And while at the hardware store, that was kind of fun. I bumped into my 7th grade tennis coach and football coach. And we were BSing a little bit, and they were giving me a little hard time. I'm looking a little punchy, and we were tough. They were remembering stories of how tough we used to be back then. The tennis team in 7th grade, after a tennis tournament, when we went to the bar to celebrate, a couple times we got in some fisticuffs with the varsity football kids from camp, and we usually mopped them up pretty good. And the football team, that coach was tough. When we got done with a game, he wanted us to then go into the bleachers and go after their family. That's a tough coach. That's a tough coach. There was a lot of times that random players couldn't play because they got caught smoking or on their probation, so they couldn't travel out of town far enough to the other schools. I think we were one of the few schools in the area that in junior high, the school newspaper had a police report in it. And that was some tough times back then. Well, we're finally getting something done. Right as I got back to the yard with the outlet, the power turned on. So I got everything going. I got my wagon emptied, and now we're draining out of the cart. We're gonna top this off and go spread this out, and then I think that'll probably be it for the day. I don't know. But yeah, I didn't want to use the broadcaster, but in the wagon from sitting in the shop for a couple days, that urea sucked up and a big glob of wet come out and is in there, and you know that glob of wet will not make it through that air system. Oh, if you hate life, if you hate your life, try and put wet fertilizer through an air system. Oh man. Well, there we go. We know that that little cart holds almost a 6-ton spreader load. That's pretty darn good. I thought it held about 4 ton if I heaped it full, and that works out pretty all right. I'm excited to try it for cover crop seeding.